first question is for David. Why would you decide to take on Shark Night after you did Snakes on a Plane? Not similar, but similar. Can you tell us why you wanted to move into this realm?
Because it was a great script. It's a really, really good script. I felt we had an opportunity to make a really cool shark movie, something that just wasn't campy and kind of corny, but had great characters like Kat, and a great story with a great twist. You know, so it was really the script. It wasn't a fact that I was looking for another animal killer movie. It's just it was a really good project.
Now, one of the things when this movie was first going into production and you started shooting, you were going to leave the name Untitled Shark Movie, I think. Why did you not stick with that name? Because a lot of us in, like, my profession thought that was absolutely brilliant, because every day we see Untitled So-and-so Project.
Right. That was not my choice. You know, I mean, there's marketing people that do a lot of research on the names and how the names will do. When we were making the movie, we thought we'd come up with a different name, and so we kind of went.
When all the ideas were swirling around on set.
We actually, every day as we came to a production meeting in pre-production and also on the set, I would have a big piece of paper where everybody would write ideas for a new name for the movie, and we had crazy names, but Relativity thought that this worked, and you know, it's a movie with sharks at night, and it's in 3D.
So it makes sense.
So it makes sense.
And now you're so brilliant in House Bunny, and it's kind of a different genre here. What is your thoughts about doing a movie like this compared to doing a movie like that, which is such a polar opposite?
Well, it's the same thing. My manager, I remember she sent me the script called Shark Night 3D, and I was like, I don't know if it's the kind of movie that I would, you know, be drawn to. And it was really well written. I mean, it really was. And originally I went in for Sarah's part, and then I kind of was in the mix for a while for a couple different parts, and then Sarah got that part, and then they brought me back in. You brought me back in for this character, and I really liked the character even more so. I didn't even think of myself as it because it was written a little bit differently. But my character's name is Beth, and she's kind of a bit of more of the wild child of the group. She's kind of unpredictable and has a bit of a different kind of a mouth, like meaning vulgar, and just not vulgar, but the things that she says are not things that I would, you know, normally say as a person. So I felt like it was just a kind of a different fun character for me to do.
Well, in the movies we've seen from David so far, he takes genre cliches and turns them on the head so that the audience doesn't really ever know what to expect or what's going on. And with you kind of being the second lead behind Sarah, there's got to be some kind of turn or twist in that where we're not really going to know what's going on with your character until the end of the movie. Can you talk about sort of the twist that he's brought to your type of character that we normally see in these movies and how it's different than that sort of archetype?
Oh, geez, wow, that's a pretty deep question.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a hard question to answer without kind of giving away what happens.
Yeah, we don't want to do any spoilers, but I think what's good is Kat's character is a wild child, but she's really strong.
Well, I think what's interesting about my character is not something you would expect. She is kind of like, oh, the tough chick, the chick you don't want to mess with, especially in terms of, you know, guys messing with her. She lays it out, and when everything starts going wrong, she's one of the characters that really freaks out. Like it really. It's not what you'd expect her to do. She just wants nothing to do with what's happening. She's like, get me the heck out of here. So I think that's an interesting twist for the character.
It is. It's a good arc for the character because in the beginning she's so set up as this ballsy kind of girl,
chick.
And then when the stuff starts happening, she just can't deal with it and she wants to get away. But it's a great part, and she did an amazing job in it. And I think the movie's fun and scary, and it's going to be a great ride.
And then the last question I have for you is, I saw what you did with the dogs and Snakes on a Plane, or I think it was just one dog. Now, I know you have a dog over here, this little golden retriever. It's become, like you say, you always twist these cliches. It's become almost cliche to get the dog and eat the dog and kill the dog. I know there might be a hero dog finally since Lost Boys, or is the dog?
Sherman was Sherman.
We loved working with Sherman.
Yeah, Sherman was named after a hero, a lady in Malibu that has rescued thousands and thousands of dogs from Katrina and all over the world. So saying that, I would just kind of hint a little bit that Sherman might be a little bit of a hero.
Yeah.
Sherman might be in Shark Night 2.
People want to see people die, but people don't want to see animals die.
You can't kill
Unless
the
you're a
dog.
shark.
What's your idea about that? Because it has really become cliche where you can't kill the dog, but then I think since it was like Independence Day, the dog lives, but then Jurassic Park came out the next week, Jurassic Park 2, and the dinosaur eats the dog, and then it was cool to kill the dogs, and we haven't seen the dog be the hero since then.
Yeah, well,
You never know.
we're going back to the roots. Back to dogs being heroes. You know, Benji, Old Yeller, all those dogs. We're going back there.
I think that's what audiences want to see, seriously. So thank you guys.